Hi, everybody. I'm Julie. I'm a rehabber in New London County, and I'm so happy to introduce one of my mentors who has taught me quite a bit about marketing. She's also one of the founders of CT RIA, and she's an active investor in Connecticut. So, Linda, what's your favorite method of marketing?
Well, this is my favorite topic, so I could talk for days, quite frankly, on this, and maybe someday I'll do a multi-day seminar on marketing. But I wanted to hit some of the best ones, and you and I share some of the same ones, so I thought we'd talk about that. If I can get this to work, hang on a second. Oh, there we go. First of all, this one is free or almost free, driving for dollars. So, obviously you want to figure out where you want to invest, which neighborhood, and we always recommend you you market within 20 minutes of where you live because, Julie, you can attest to this. If you had to drive 45 minutes each way to a rehab, that would get pretty old pretty quick, right?
Absolutely.
So go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So once you figured out where you want to go, you're going to be driving up and down the neighborhood. You can also walk your dog. You could also ride your bicycle. If you're Julie, you'd probably ride your motorcycle.
Yep.
You might take a boat out. But the point is you're looking for houses that are vacant. You're looking for ugly houses, so really nice neighborhood, ugly house on that street. Also look for signs that say for rent by owner or for sale by owner. Also, auctions, foreclosure auctions are listed every week in your local newspaper under legal notices. In fact, this past weekend, the New Haven Register had 13 listed, 13. So you got to pick which ones you want to go, but at least you could drive by each one and see what's going on there. I also go to as many open houses as possible, and I like to go to open houses to see what my competition is. What are people putting in their houses? Is it granite? Is it laminate? What colors are they using? Things like that. But we'll talk about real estate agents in a minute, but that's what I do with all those things. And then my last favorite piece of advice for you is to drive home a different way each day so that you see new things every single day. And you'll say, man, I've never noticed that before. So that's marketing and driving for dollars. And actually on our blog ctria.com, I wrote a series of articles about how to do this and how. One more thing, one more fun hint, and then I'll turn it back to you, Julie, is go there on garbage pickup day, drive your neighborhood on garbage pickup day, and if the garbage cans are not put out by the curb a couple weeks in a row, it's probably a vacant house. Or obviously if the grass is tall, or if they didn't shovel the snow, it's probably a vacant house. So that's worth getting out of your car, taking some pictures, talking to the neighbors. Try to get as much information from the neighbors as possible, and because maybe they can figure out where the person went to. But driving for dollars is definitely my favorite way of finding deals.
This is fabulous and wonderful suggestions. What's the best way that you have people call you?
Well, flyers is it's one thing to go drive neighborhoods. I was talking to one of my students yesterday, and she's developed a list of 11 vacant houses. The only thing about vacant houses is now you got to go figure out where the people are so you can send letters to them and hopefully make a deal. But it's always fun when people call you. So obviously you're going to do business cards, and everybody knows about business cards. But if you can develop flyers are just really big, giant business cards. And you can be as creative as you want. In fact, the more creative, the better. Everybody knows how to print stuff off your computer, but if you have kids, how about get your kids to get the crayons out and color some flyers and put them up all over town? Or just be creative is what I want to say. Be sure to put your phone number, your email, and your website on there. Don't forget to do that. I've done marketing, believe me. I sent out whole mailings and forgot to put any way of people to contact me. So make sure you put your phone, your email, and your website. Now, here's one thing I just thought of before. If most websites today have some way of people putting in their name, their email, and then they'll get a free report. Well, if you don't have a website yet, and we'll be talking about that this weekend, but if you don't have a website yet, you could always say, for a free report, email me here, And a lot of times people are more likely to send an email rather than to get on the phone. They're scared to talk to people on the phone. Now, once you have these flyers, where are you going to put them? So again, remember I just talked about your farm area. You want to be within 20 minutes of where you live. And so grocery stores, delicatessens, auto parts stores, bars, hair salons, hardware stores, anywhere that has a bulletin board, put your flyer there and put a lot of them there. Another thing that you could do with flyers is you can, I used to do this when I sold insurance. I take a flyer, a piece of paper divided in four, so my flyer was a fourth of a page. And I take it to a print shop, and they would put pads, tear-off pads, and put like 20 in a pad, and I put them all over the place. Like I said, diners, delis, especially where all the contractors hang out, because contractors are looking for their next job. They want to remove a roof, or they want to put in new plumbing or put in new electricity. As Julie said, this guy's that she's working with now, he wants to work with her and build a team. Well, why not? Because that's steady work, day in and day out. So if you can figure out where the contractors hang out in your town, put these tear-off pads there, make it, use some wording like, hey, attention contractors, I'll pay you $500 and hire you for the job if you can find me a house. So, or something like that, right? You could just be as creative as you want to. Julie, anything for you about flyers and business cards that you do?
Yes, my flyers were pink, but I found out through another seminar that yellow actually works better. And I have actually mailed out letters to vacant properties, and I did get some responses. So that has worked for me. I know this weekend you're going to discuss probably the Horsey letter as well. I haven't tried that one yet, but a lot of people are having success with that. I understand you're going to give us some awesome resources for business cards and other marketing tools this weekend, correct?
Yeah, I've built a really great partnership with this print shop that specializes in real estate, and so they have business cards and door hangers. I'm going to talk about signs in a little bit. But the biggest thing are sending out those letters and postcards. They are time-consuming, and so they have a system for automating that, which could be really, really helpful to make sure you get those letters and postcards out to people on a timely basis. But anyway, they have some really great designs for business cards, flyers, newsletters, all kinds of things. So I'll be sharing that resource with you this weekend. Yep.
Beautiful.
Now, I know I was going to do off-market deals, but we have to talk about the MLS, right? Because about 90% of people look at the MLS, and especially nowadays, at some point in their buying process. So if you're not there, especially when you're selling, you're missing out on the market. And if you're there and on buying, there's a lot of opportunities because here in the Northeast, we still have a lot of foreclosures. As I mentioned before, there's a lead calling me right now. Sorry about that. Let me just, I got to, so anyways, so sorry about that. So if you ignore the MLS, you're going to miss out on a lot of deals. Here's the one thing, though. If you want to wholesale, and we will be talking about wholesaling over the weekend, but wholesaling means you're finding deals, and then you want to assign the contract to somebody else and get paid a finder's fee, essentially. Your end buyers, like people like Julie, who is a rehabber, she's already on the MLS every single day. She doesn't need you to go to the MLS to find deals. She's not going to pay you, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 just to find something on the MLS. So you've got to get more creative and go beyond there. But as you can see on the slide here, these are the search words. If you can get your real estate agent to put you on an automated search for any of those terms, you'll start finding out about deals of people that might be flexible, right? And so you might want to jot those down real quickly. And the other thing is you want to be selecting real estate agents who specialize in people like us. So there are wonderful real estate agents, and they're happy to drive families around from house to house to house and then sell them a pretty house because they make a really nice commission on selling pretty houses, but that's not us. We're looking for ugly houses, and we're looking for houses where people really need to sell, and they can be flexible either on their price or on what they call terms, so that maybe you could do some owner financing and things like that. Obviously, commercial properties, you want to find real estate agents because commercial properties are not listed on the MLS. There's really no central place for it. There's a couple things like LoopNet. And then but real estate-owned properties, these are properties that have already been foreclosed on. They're owned by the bank. These can move really quickly. But again, you want to find a real estate agent that understands the process and how to figure out what the bank will accept and help you craft an offer that the bank will accept without overpaying. So, and then if you can find a real estate agent that's been in business for a long time, one, they have lots of connections, and two, they probably know how to negotiate and they know how to keep the deals together. They've been in the market, up market, down market, side market. So if you can find some of those people, those would be good. Julie, you buy and sell lots of real estate agents. Anything else you want to add to working with agents?
You want to find an agent that cares about being an agent, not just someone who's part-time. My agent does above and beyond, like little things. He drives by my property. He calls me if someone's in my driveway. He goes in and checks on the property, make sure the basement's not, flooded. He, one time I asked him to put up some, those plug-in scented things because we were having a showing, and that I knew they were empty. I mean, he just loves being part of our team, and he just goes the extra mile. You also want to have that person be really good at paperwork, somebody who understands every single sentence and every single word in that contract, because if you miss one small item, it can throw a monkey wrench in the closing. So you want to make sure that that's a person who's well-versed in their paperwork. Now, Linda, what about signs? I know I've put up signs and gotten leads for both buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, there's yours on the left-hand side. I asked you to send them in. You actually took my advice.
I did.
One of the things I encourage people to do is they work. So how have you used those signs? How have they been part of your team there?
I took the advice of one of our, I can't think of his name right now, nice gentleman who talks about private funding. Anyway, he suggests.
Alan Calgill, maybe?
Yes. He says he puts 5 to 10 signs all over his yard while he's having a property. And it was amazing how much response we got from this. Somebody actually, a neighbor, came out and said, hey, there's a vacant house right around the corner. We ended up not getting that house, but I realized that this works. This last property that we're pretty much finished rehabbing, I received 4 phone calls for 4 potential buyers that came and looked at the house, and one of them is still considering buying. So I'm going to save a huge amount on my realtor fee because it's going to be a deal just between the two of us. So the signs definitely work. And plus mine is humorous, so I even get contractors talking and buzzing about this and saying, hey, I might have a lead, and which are you? Are you the dancer or are you the biker? And I say, well, technically I'm both. But so they definitely work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think humor is really useful, and I talk a lot, and again on the blog post at blog.ctria.com, I have a couple articles about that. If you have a passion, Julie is on the senior dance team for the Mohegan Suns, right? And so if you have a passion about something, then maybe you can make a sign out of it, and it'll be memorable. People always think of not just one more We Buy Houses, but dancers and bikers. So why not? On the right-hand side is an example from one of our other students, and this is a car sign. And I'm going to share some resources for finding these, of course. And but notice he has his phone number and his website on there. One thing I do recommend, if you have a van or SUV, if you could put that sign on the back panel, that's even better, because if you're parked in a parking lot, people can see it better. If you're stopped at a stoplight, they can see it better than if it's on the side. So that's just one thing I recommend. If you can find somebody who works retail and they're sitting in a parking lot for 10 hours a day, or even an office place, right? That doesn't really matter. In their park someplace, see if they'll carry your signs on there. and then offer them a reward if you can either pay them monthly for doing it, like say $25 a month, or you can pay them when they send you leads from when people call off those signs. But that's a really creative way. We've done them. Just be careful if you're putting up signs. Understand what the zoning laws are for signs in your town. Some towns are really, really strict. Some towns don't care so much. Obviously, you can put signs on your own property. I've seen signs where these are clearly abandoned, awful houses, and somebody put his sign up there, like nailed it to the house. I thought, wow, this guy's really on top of all these vacant houses. And then I kind of figured out finally that he probably had no relationship with them. He was just hoping somebody would call him. It could be the owner who said, what the heck are you doing putting "We Buy Houses" cash sign? Or it could be somebody who's interested in calling him. So lots of different ways for using signs. By the way, sometimes handwritten signs work better than these pre-printed signs. So sometimes people just get corrugated things. This is a great way, wholesalers, for you to build your buyer's list. It's a great way for you to sell a property. And, and if you're having an open house, you definitely want to have signs everywhere directing people to your open house. So, great job for you and Michael on that sign, that's for sure. I'm going to talk a little bit about yellow letters real quick. I do a lot more at it this weekend. This is actually a letter from Alan Calco we just mentioned, but isn't this cool? This is a letter that he wrote, and it's got all kinds of scribbles and different colored things, and this came to me, and this is actually advertising an event he was doing, and I read through that and said, wow, that's really interesting. So, and he made copies of this. So he created ones, made copies of it. So we'll talk about that some more. I think that was, so there we go. So we have sending out direct mail, we have doing flyers, we have doing signs, we have driving your neighborhood, and of course we have working with real estate agents. By the way, one more hint about real estate agents. If you want to buy, try to go for properties that have been on the market for at least 90 days or at least 120 days. At that point, people start dropping pricing all over the place and get more flexible.
Right.
So,
correct.
Great.
Well, I'm really excited to be the I'm so excited about being the MC of this weekend. Could you explain how this event is unique from the other events C2RE offers during the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I really love it when you're the MC because you're a lot of fun, and everybody feels better hanging out with you. So
sweet.
This event is a 2-day event. It's a chance for the local coaches who, by the way, have been investing for 20-plus years, 30-plus years, as well as people like Julie and other successful investors in the area, to share real-life information, strategies, techniques, tips that we are finding is working right now in today's market. What worked a year ago may not necessarily work this year. I have students that a year ago were rehabbing houses that are now looking to buy and hold, or they're looking at a different price point. Julie's actually in an area where things are expanding, but there are other parts wherever you may live may be contracting. So we want to give you that kind of information this weekend. And then we're going to run workshops all weekend long on all different subjects, from marketing, of course, negotiating. One of the things that Joanne is a really great negotiator. She's incredible, actually. So one of my students told me she just came into the coaching program because she heard one thing and helped her save $25,000 when buying a property. $25,000 when she made the offer. And then recently Joanne had 2 students that had already signed a contract, and they realized they paid too much after the inspection. So when talking with her, they were able to save $30,000 on one property and $5,000 on another. That's the difference between making money and not making money. So you definitely want to be there for that workshop. She's going to tell you the words to use and what not to use. I'm going to be talking a lot of different creative ways of finding money for real estate, lots of different ways. Also techniques on buying real estate without using any of your own money. We're going to do rehabbing case studies. I'm sure Julie will share one of hers. I've got a bunch of people lined up to share before, during, after photos, how they found them, how they funded them. So you can see the whole process and really understand how they're doing and then what's working for them, and how to save money, what to rehab, and probably more importantly, what not to rehab. The scope of work, which is basically your to-do list, But if it's not done, if it's done really well, like there's one guy that's on the phone right now. He and his team and I had several conversations about the scope of work, because if it's really, really, really specific and organized, then you can get your contractors to come on board and give you a really accurate price, and you won't have surprises later on. So we're going to talk about scope of work and how to stick to it, but we're also, for VIPs, you should definitely be a VIP. It's so affordable for people. For VIPs, we're going to give you a guide to selecting great contractors, and then we're going to give you all of these documents. So that alone is worth the price of tuition for VIP and VIP Plus. So we do have 3 different levels. We have the basic, which is 2 days of all these different workshops. We include lunch. There's networking opportunities. So there's that. And then VIP, also, we give you some great bonuses. We're going to give you tickets to 2 future Saturday seminars. If you've never been to CTRIA before, we do a one-day event on Saturday with some of our national speakers. So we'll give you 2 of those throughout the year for free. We're also going to give you a zip drive that's loaded with all kinds of great information. We have a special raffle for VIPs on a 40-inch TV, which if you already have too many, you can either sell it or stage it. So, and then Equity Trust. Yeah, right. Equity Trust, by the way, is a company that will teach you how to take your 401k, your SEPs, your IRAs, Roth IRAs, and self-direct them so that you can buy real estate inside of these tax-deferred or tax-free vehicles. And so they're going to be here for the first time in forever. They're going to be speaking about that and running a workshop late Saturday afternoon. And they're going to be talking about so anyway, VIPs, you're going to get a special video so you can take home this information, really learn it, really study it. By the way, I recommend, this is a great reason why you should bring your potential private lenders for the weekend, and because they're going to see why you're so interested in it and realize that you really do understand the numbers and that they're going to get their money back. So you definitely want to come for that reason alone. If you're VIP Plus, which also includes a 1-year membership into CTRIA, we'll evaluate one of your deals during the weekend or between now and 6 months from now. And then we'll also give you some free ads on our deals email so you can advertise deals that you have. In fact, I was just talking to one of my students. He's making $30,000 a month in cash flow. Pretty amazing. And he's got too many deals coming at him, so he's advertising one of them on CTRIA. So you can choose whichever one you can do. Basic is $57 for guests, $47 for members. We do have one-day tickets. If it's not on the website, just call CTRIA to do that. VIP, I think, is $97 for members, and then VIP Plus is a little bit more, but it's still a great bargain because it's going to include your 1-year membership in there. So this is how you register if you go to ctrealestateseminar.com, ctrealestateseminar.com. It's this weekend. It's at the Courtyard by Marriott Shelton, and so that's really good news for some people and not so great news for other people, but it's a really nice hotel, easy in, easy out, and totally worth it. Make a weekend of it. Book a hotel and stay overnight. Totally worth it. I mean, Julie and I have spent, invested $4,000 or more just to attend a weekend event with as much information as this, and we're giving it to you for $100. So
right.
One of the things that I hear over and over and over again is that people wish they had found us first. You may have come here because you heard about real estate investing from somebody else. And over again, people say, man, I wish I found you guys first because you make it simple, you make it clear, you're local, you can help us find deals, you can help us find contractors, you can help us make money. And so that's our whole goal. And we're here all year long, month in, month out, we're here for you. So just go ahead now and register yourself, then bring your dream team, anybody that's involved with you, bring your potential private lenders, your contractors, mom and dad, whatever, and hopefully you can make it. So that's all I have to say, Julie. Was this valuable, I hope?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I want to thank you so much for this information. You are just so incredible. You have no idea. I so look forward to this event. Even though I'm running a very successful rehabbing business now, it's ridiculous how much more I pick up every time I go. Sometimes I have to drive an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. And while I'm driving, I'm thinking, okay, I've done over 20 houses now. What could I possibly learn again? And every time I pick up something new. So I will never stop going. I have so much fun at these events, and I really look forward to meeting all the new people. So I just wish everybody a great day, and please come up and introduce yourself to me. I will probably be running around with a pink hard hat because I'm known as the dancing pink hat rehabber. So feel free to come say hello. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Cool. All right, I'll stay on for a few minutes. If any of you have any questions, you can type them into the text box. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you this weekend, bright and early, Saturday morning, and see you then. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.